Hey there, it's Walt. So we're getting ready to do a program for our coaching community on yearly planning. And now is the time to be thinking about planning for the year ahead, planning for 2021. And for many of you, you don't really want to do that at all because 2020 has been such a challenge. It has not been the year we expected. It has not been the year we wanted. And if we did make plans, the year probably didn't go according to plan. And yet planning is so essential. Dwight Eisenhower, when he was the supreme commander of the European forces at the end of World War II, said, "In preparing for battle, I have always found that plans are worthless, but that planning is everything." And what he meant by that is, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of battle, in the heat of a year like we've had in 2020, plans can often go out the window, but that when we've thought through things, strategies, approaches, when we've thought through things thoroughly and have some semblance of a plan, it's something to come back to. It's a touchstone to return to over and over again. Not unlike that GPS in your car, your navigator. You know, you go off course, as many of us can do, and the voice says recalculating, and it brings you back to course. You know, an airplane flying from London to New York can be off course 90% of the time, but the autopilot is always correcting so that we get to the destination. And the same thing is true when we have a plan. When we have a plan, it's a place to come back to and to revisit those things, those hopes, those dreams, those aspirations, those goals that we envision in the quiet of the planning process. We're much more likely to get there when we've actually taken the time to plan. And we've seen it in our own business, we've seen it in the businesses and lives of the people we're privileged to serve, that those who had really clear plans in 2020, those were the people who created extraordinary successes this year. And as we stand on the threshold of 2021, there is so much opportunity. There are so many possibilities for 2021. So I want to encourage you to spend some time planning for 2021. Now, we actually take an entire day to do the planning process. We set aside some time and we get quiet and we work through a template that we've designed over the years, and we come up with a very clear and concrete plan. You don't have to do that. It's really good to set aside some dedicated time for it. But even if you were to identify just 3 things, a business or career goal, a wellness goal, and a personal goal. You know, like maybe you want to get a promotion, or maybe you want to take your background and experience and use it as a consultant or coach. Maybe you want to launch a product or a program. So that could be a business goal. Maybe in wellness, you want to take up a yoga practice or run a half marathon or a marathon, not one of those crazy things that the Hamptons do, the ultra marathons, but a simple wellness goal. And maybe a personal goal. Maybe you want to study a new language. Maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to take up painting, something personal. So getting clear on some concrete goals in just a few areas of your life, and there are lots of ways to go about the planning process. This is a very rudimentary way, but to make them smart goals. You know, the difference between dreams and goals are that goals are dreams with a deadline. And so SMART is an acronym. It's like specific, measurable, actionable, reasonable, and time defined. So if, for example, you were going to say, I'm going to write a book in 2021, and it's perfectly feasible to write a book in 2021, you would decide that the book was going to be done by December 31st, 2021. That's very time defined. And it's going to be a business book, a business parable, let's say. Well, that's very specific. Measurable. Well, you can measure how you're going along by the number of pages that you're writing a day. And by the way, if you wrote just a page a day for 360 days, you'd have some serious editing to do before you were done with the book, because that's all it would take, is to write a page a day. So it's specific, it's measurable, you can sit down and write, so it's actionable, and it's reasonable, it's realistic. You can do that in a year. So I would encourage you to just seize 3 concrete goals for your plan for the year ahead and get clear about how you're going to take action towards those. I've said before that, when the 1918 pandemic finished, there was this extraordinary, explosive, celebratory growth, the Roaring 20s. Empires were built on the ashes of 9/11. We're coming out of a very, very challenging time, and there is so much extraordinary opportunity. There are so many possibilities. There's so many exciting things. And I know that we're weary, and I know that we would just like to rest and pretend that all didn't happen. And yet there's so much to look forward to. So I want to encourage you, even in this busy time of year, even when we're feeling a bit tired and fatigued, to carve out some time and to reconnect with those things that you want to accomplish in your business and in your life, so that you can make 2021 an extraordinary one. Make it a great rest of the day, great rest of the week. Talk soon.